The difference between a thriving gym and the one that feels like it's constantly going one step forward and one step back often comes down to one thing: culture. I've built multiple successful businesses within the fitness industry and multiple successful teams. And oftentimes, the thing that always is the bottleneck is culture. But why take my advice? My name is James Robinson. I've built multiple fitness businesses that are all successful, from coaching businesses to gym teams and everything in between. And these are my 5 strategies that have transformed not only my businesses, but also over 200 of our coaching clients within our gym owners mentorship program. And we've seen them not only transform their business, but actually see a return of over £180,000 a year on average using our methodologies. So let's dive deep. The 5 kind of strategies for transforming the culture are often going to come down to a couple things. The first and foremost one is going to be all around core values. Now, core values is one of those things that often gets said within the industry, but not many people understand it. It gets brushed under the carpet. It sometimes feels a little bit woo, a little bit soft, just not really like drives enough inspiration. And the reality is that because most of us jump into core values with things like honesty, integrity, and all these kind of like airy fairy words, where in reality is we need to dial deeper into how these core values can really set the culture alight. It becomes doing words, it becomes ways in which that inspires action and how we show up. I've heard many different references on how to better articulate core values, and something that I really like hearing is something called an operating principle. All right, how you show up. It's a bit of a rules of the game every single day. All right, and it's something you can use to measure yourself against. Now, this is where it becomes absolutely awesome. Core values is going to create the link between how you guys show up as a team, as well as how the members show up as well. And creating that link in between is what core values is all about. Within March On, we have a few operating principles that really set us alight. One of which is world-class basics. And I want you to just sit with that for a second. Just think, world-class basics. What does that mean? It means that we are going to champion doing the basic things right. We're going to sweat the small stuff. We're going to hold the standard. Oftentimes we talk about what does that standard look like? And I call it like the Roger Federer professionalism, right? We know that Roger Federer is one of the most all-time great GOATs when it comes to professionalism on how he warmed up, how he ate, how he trained, how he recovered, how he played. And it's those kind of standards that actually set a level of class. They set a level of expectation. It is the culture, and the culture that is then embodied by the people around him. Within your business, if you want to really transform the culture, both from the team standpoint and the member standpoint, it's going to come back down to these world-class basics. We want to think about words or short statements that are memorable and inspire action. Things that are like, they drive excellence, they drive standards, they drive the way in which we show up each and every single day. And then what's really powerful is you use this not only as a thing that you might put on the wall, which many businesses do, but fundamentally you use it during a one-to-one. So when you have one-to-ones with your staff, you go, how are you performing against the values? And it becomes a yardstick to which they can measure their performance. The next one is something that's pretty unique. Fundamentally, LBE stands for lead by example. And most often than not, the attitude of the team is a reflection of the leadership. So how you are leading yourself, how you leading the team is all going to be down to you and you taking extreme ownership. Far too many times when it comes to leading by example, owners, leaders will say certain things but not hold the standard. I've seen so many gym owners who might say no hats on the gym floor and then show up to work with a hat the next day. They might say that show up 15 minutes early before your session, but then crawl in just before the session starts. Certain things like that where the standard is just not upheld by the owner. So if you want something to change, you often need to first change you. And this is probably something that is like quite airy, quite soft again. So I just want you to reflect on the last 3 months of how you've shown up. Something we talk about within the Gym Owner Network often is the work you do today shows up in 3 months' time, which means that if you are seeing a lull in your business right now and you're in this despair moment, it's like, well, let's look back. What were you doing 3 months ago that's giving you the results or the lack of the results now? And therefore, it then has this correlatory effect where it's like the work you do today shows up here, the work you do tomorrow shows up in 3 months and one day. And things start to cascade and you start to really stack some wins. So if you want to see changes within your gym culture, changes within your team culture, it starts with you. It starts with how you show up, the way in which you communicate, the way in which you champion people, and what behaviors do you champion, which then leads me into this next phase. So the third strategy is establishing the difference between a family or a high-performing sports team. And far too many of us want to try and build a family-like team. I said it. In the first few years of my business, I said it far too many times. I felt proud of the fact that I had this like family-esque type thing going on. But I think we can all agree that where does most drama come from? Not with your friends or within your sports team, but at home, in the family. And the reality is that in a high-performing sports team, we know that we have a vision for the team. We have purpose and meaning and a mission of which we are trying to achieve. And then the goal of the team is to aspire to hit these targets. Therefore, everyone's role in the team is to hit these targets and play a role. Coming from a pro rugby background, something that I absolutely love about this analogy is, would I want to pass you the ball if I saw you outside of me? If you were in space, could I feel like I could trust you, or would I rather just trust myself? If we were on the defensive line and I knew you on the inside of me, would I trust you to be there, or would I be too worried that you would actually miss the tackle? So when we think about it, it's like, well, I want to create an environment where we're a high-performing sports team. As a coaching team, you are the captain of the ship, but every single one of the players is earning their right to be on that team and remembering that they're renting the jersey. Because if we're going to fix the culture within the gym and how the members show up, how the members use the service, how the members value the service, it's going to always come back down from a top-down approach. You, your team, and what gets celebrated, championed, and tolerated within the gym. A shift towards a high-performing sports team drives accountability, it drives performance, and it drives radical transparency. The next one. This is one of my favorite things at the moment. TNT. What does this stand for? Takes no talent. I've seen this going around, doing the rounds on social media. Truthfully, I don't know where it's come from, but this takes no talent thing is something that when I first heard it, it absolutely resonated with me. Growing up, I used to love the statement, the phrase, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. And I always felt like I wasn't the most talented, but I could always put in the work. I could always do the extras. It galvanized me. It gave me so much more energy to think that like, I'm going to beat those guys that just felt entitled to the position or whatever else. And then recently, I've heard this reframe of the TNT analogy where it takes no talent, where it's like, that's the exact same thing, but said in an even better way. In the frame in which how you show up to work, whether you're early, late, or in between, it takes no talent to show up early. How well you're dressed, how clean your clothes look, if they're ironed or not, the type of trainers you wear, if they're clean or not, whether you look like a scruff or not, how you greet people when they come into the door or not, how you give people high fives or not. Like these things take no talent. When you say you're going to do something and you actually deliver on what you said you were going to do, it takes no talent. It takes no talent to go and do extra reading to become a better coach. It takes no talent to ask for help. So, takes no talent is something that I absolutely love, and I want to encourage you as the gym owner within your team to really embody. What are the things that we can do on a daily basis that is a reflection of our high-performing behaviors, looking to continuously improve our performance, adopt new behaviors, all underpinned by the fact that none of these take talent, they just take a little bit of dedication and hard work. And then finally, there's something that then transcends into the entire gym, if I can count properly, is PB, personal brand. The personal brand for both you and your coaches, and how you guys show up, how you guys embody the values of the business, how you guys embody the values of training, looking after yourself, eating well, educating, pushing yourself, pushing the limits, finding new limits. If you can, as a team, show up in a way in which you can lead your team, your little community, if you can educate them, if you can live by example, these are great ways in which your team can all build their personal brand, but create more trust and buy-in from the members. To be like, wow, like these coaches really know what they're talking about. I want to learn more from them. These coaches have a real impact on my life. I'm learning, I'm getting better. And fundamentally, it builds trust, it builds authority. If you want to keep members for longer, it's going to come from the basis of the fact that they see the coaching team as their team. They see that this is a coaching business, not just a gym. Because if you have members churning in and out, it's because of one key thing, is that the coach's ability to connect to the members' current state and their future state and bring it all together is misaligned. So we often talk about goalposts, and all members, it's like, hey, tell me what your goals are. What are we trying to achieve? And when a member signs up, we often set maybe a 6-week goal. And it's like, bosh, you get there. And then it's like, sign up to a membership. And then most gyms, most coaches, they just think, well, they signed up now, hopefully they stay. But what happens? What happens? Most of them, they get to the 3-month mark and they leave. So they've been there for 6 weeks and 3 months and it's over. And you don't know why. You might not even track it. You just might think that your retention's great because you've still got some of the OGs. Those OGs are never going to leave. The OGs are never going to leave because they're too scared to go anywhere else. They found somewhere that gets them, that they fit in. They're not going anywhere. Just because they haven't left does not mean your retention is good. The reality is it's the new people that you are attracting in that aren't staying longer than 3 months. That's the reflection of your retention, which means that at some point prior to that 3-month mark, we need to understand where the goals are now and how can we move the goalposts. And this is where you might have quarterly reviews with your members to understand where they are. How are they performing against the values within the coaching business around their world-class basics, their ability to take ownership of their journey, your ability to sit with them, lead them, and show them a further way, educate them. Remember, education is something you do with someone, not to someone. So if we can start to establish this, all of a sudden everything comes and it starts to stack wins where members can stay much longer than 9, 12 months. But guess what underpins all that? It's going to come from a place of trust and authority. And just because your coaching team have a t-shirt that says coach on the back doesn't mean they've earned that. You want to fix culture within your business? It starts with you. You lead from the top down to your team. The team then have to really create a connection from the business and the brand and the values that this brand is all about to the members, to a way in which we can keep challenging them, driving them for further growth within their own journeys, that they can see that these goalposts are things that we can keep shifting further and further away. And if we can create an environment, a culture that is underpinned by effort within the gym, effort outside of the gym, a community, a connection, a vulnerability, a shared belief in education and upgrading how they understand nutrition, lifestyle optimization, recovery, and everything in between, you're now building a coaching community that is striving to unlock their next level in life rather than just selling classes. Because if you're just selling classes, you're just on a race to the bottom and your gym's on a trajectory to fail. So culture starts with you. Get to work. If you do the core value stuff right now and you embody this into the business, you communicate it to the team, you get buy-in from the team, all of a sudden things start to stack up, and I guarantee you, you will not recognize your business 3 months from now. Go make it count.